Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dice Cast. I am Russell, and with me I have.
Fish man.
Well, last we left off, Aquans and Jonas had finally reached the capital of the Elven Dominion, Eventine, the Evening Star, their last bastion of their people in the lands of Taiga. After a long journey, they decided to treat themselves to a nice bit of downtime and research and relaxation in the Elvish capital, which they were granted access to due to their previous assistance with the local druids after the events with the Crown of Thorns.
Yep.
The party spent most of the time relaxing, researching, and adding new spells to their spellbook. Jonas briefly made the acquaintance of Master Aldriver, one of the three speakers in the Elvish city, which makes up its governing body, and the head local wizard, who was also on friendly terms with Master Malzra from Lyria.
Yep.
However, during the end of their week of downtime,
Oh, you
even
forgot to
time.
you,
Sorry?
you forgot to mention my little teleportation over to Lyria to have lunch and schmooze
Yes.
with the big knobs.
Anyway, yes, that also happened. But during the end of that their week of downtime, Eventine was struck with a cataclysm, not really cataclysm, but an issue, which was this fissure opening up, spewing forth miasma that from the underworld, presumably. Out of this crevice came a colossal dragon zombie, which the party was able to make short work of with their magic.
Yep.
However, this did hint at troubles deeper below the city, and the local Elvish guards, evacuated and locked the area down for further investigation. And that's where we left off last time. There is one thing of note, one slight retcon.
What's that?
Well, as you point out, you had hold monster in your spellbook,
Oh, yeah.
which we forgot about. So I was able to take back the money that we. So retroactively, we've changed the fact that I took back the money I would have spent on buying a scroll of that, and instead I just have copied it from your spellbook.
Yeah, I've never prepared it, so it kind of got forgotten.
Yeah.
May end up needing it at some point in time.
Yes. So, needless to say, I don't have not quite as poor as I was at the end of the last session.
Yeah, we really gave a huge injection of cash into this economy, I tell
Yes.
you.
So that was the only real thing that we needed to talk about from last time, and I'll hand it over to you.
All right, if I remember correctly, during all that attempts for the guard to lock this place down, do some evacuation, we decided to go have lunch.
Yes, we showed up, solved their problem, decided to go have lunch.
Yeah, it's a old SG1 thing. So,
Yeah,
lunch.
yeah,
So we're sitting in a restaurant at the moment,
yes.
just finishing up. That will amount to a short rest. So
Okay,
if
so I can use Arcane Recovery then.
you can use Arcane Recovery.
Well, I can only realistically gain back a fifth level spell slot, so I will regain back a fifth level spell slot, and the last spell level will go to waste because I haven't cast any firsts yet.
I will do the same, except I don't get that bonus
Yeah,
because a second level spell slot is not enough.
yeah.
I will get the fifth back.
Also, you only get to 5 levels worth of spell slots at this point. My Grimoire gives me an extra level.
Yep. So we're having lunch, relaxing.
Presumably in the same restaurant we had previously, or maybe not.
Roll a perception check. Just you.
Just me.
Yep.
All right. I've reorganized my character sheet to have my proficiencies higher up, so I don't have to scroll down as far. 19.
Um, Almost always in a restaurant, there's some chatter happening.
Yeah.
Uh, when we first got to town, we were kind of like a novelty.
Yeah.
People were, well, I mean, we're the first non-elves basically in town in quite some time.
Yes.
They do go to quite an extent to hide this place.
Yes. They do.
And today, though, you notice that the conversation is a little bit different. They are actually still, well, they stopped talking about us after a couple of days because, novelty wore off.
Yes.
Now there's a new novelty. Word is spread that we destroyed an extremely powerful creature
with relative ease.
with, yeah, because we don't even look. Well, I mean, I took a little bit of damage,
Yeah,
but marginal
which you can mitigate some of now.
if I wanted to.
Yeah,
And yeah, we handily destroyed an undead creature of immense size.
yeah. I mean, a dragon zombie is not something you see every day.
No, it's our first one.
Yeah,
Anyway, there's a little bit of whispering, and you might suggest a little bit of awe in
yeah.
the amount of power that got thrown around in 18 seconds.
Yes, it was a quick fight.
Yes.
At some point, we probably should talk to those three speakers about possibly investigating that fissure and whatever lies beneath it.
Well, funny you should say that because um, this is going to take a bit of time.
Yeah,
They have a lot to do. They have an area to cordon off this
yes.
area here. They need
They have to evacuate an entire, basically, uh,
they're
trade quarter.
yeah, they're worried about more subsidence.
Yeah,
Some of this street and maybe even possibly a building or two sinking down into this hole. So yeah, they're evacuating some buildings, warning the people, telling them to stay away because even though the dragon zombies currently no more,
yeah.
there are still fumes.
Yeah, that miasma. Who knows what long-term exposure to that, what long what health consequences will come from that.
Yeah. Well, see, and
We saw what happened in short term to you and to that Myconid.
I got a full face of that stuff, I tell you.
Yeah, and we did watch a Myconid fall apart from it too.
Yeah. So that does take a bit of time.
Yeah.
We are finished our lunch and probably thinking about getting up and heading out when a very well dressed individual comes in uh, very shiny breastplate.
Okay.
Has emblazoned the emblem of actually we've been here long enough that we know that he is very high ranked in whatever the passes as the city guards here.
Yeah. Some sort of commander.
Yeah, he's not just some, you know, kid that they tossed a couple of coins to tell them to go get these guys. This
Yeah.
guy's actually got some serious reputation and or clout or whatever in this town, and he comes in and doesn't do anything but head straight towards our table.
Yeah, we're used to this sort of treatment by this point, I think.
Yeah, we've had it a few times.
In Lyria, yeah, for the most part, but yeah.
But anyway, he's very polite and cordial, and he says, he's obviously been made aware of the situation.
Yeah.
He has been in contact, of course, with the council, and they are now convening because, well, this is something that hasn't not happened in a very, very, very long time in recorded history, even. And they would like uh, not so much an explanation of anything, but they want a more first-hand account of what happened because we were basically the ones that were there.
Yeah.
Everyone else just everyone else just
Everyone else
away.
ran away or ran for cover.
Yeah. The smart people ran away. We stayed there and beat up on the zombie.
I don't know. We were intelligent enough to bring it down.
Yeah. So anyway, he is offering the invitation
Yeah.
if you can spare some time to come to the council chambers and give a first-hand account of this because, like I said, there are concerns.
Well, yes. All right. Well, I assume we're done here at this point.
Oh, we finished a while ago. We're just having an extra cup of tea, relaxing, and catching our breath more than anything else. So, it
Okay.
was like 18 seconds of battle, but it was intense.
Yeah. So I guess we'll settle our bill, whatever.
Apparently, that's being covered for us.
Okay. And then head off with this guy to see the three speakers by the sounds of it,
Yeah.
after
Well,
only a week in the city.
well, I've met one of them and
Yes.
I've talked to him, and he's on good terms with Mauser, which is nice. That does help with us quite a bit because he already knows of us.
Yes.
And I suspect he has been talking a fair
Asking
amount.
questions.
to the other two
Mhm.
to fill them in on what's going on with us. And yeah, they probably have a fair number of questions for us.
Yeah.
So we
I
are
mean,
escort,
it's probably going to come down to the fact that, well, a fissure opened up in the middle of the streets and a dragon zombie came out.
and then we beat the snot out of it. Yeah.
That we put it down, yeah.
So we're escorted to the main council chambers. Nice, lovely building.
Yeah.
We are led directly in.
Yeah. For those
I
who
have,
remember our graphic from last time, it's the central building.
yeah, I didn't put all the graphics up because we're not going to spend much time here.
Okay.
So, I will hand it over to you for a few moments because you have put together the council
Yes.
and you can give us a description of them.
Okay. So you've already met the High Elven speaker, Fenyor Elder River, who is one of the three. He represents the interests of the High Elven people here, and is also the basically the head of arcane and magical research and education in Eventine.
Yep.
He's a very old elf.
Yeah.
The fact he's actually showing years of age shows just how advanced in years he is.
Yep.
In addition to him is Arwen Golddew, and she is a somewhat less senior wood elf speaker,
Yep.
and she is dressed as one might expect from someone who spends most of their time in the wilderness and knows how to handle herself in combat. So most likely some sort of ranger
Yep.
or style character. And again, she speaks for the wood elves and their interests,
Yep.
and also is responsible for basically the security and well-being of the surrounding environments in the forest.
Yep.
And the third member, we also have Farah Shadowflight, who is the dark elf speaker, and she is dressed in a somewhat different attire because she seems to dress in some slightly more traditional drow-looking robes.
Yep.
And she again speaks for obviously the drow population of the city, and is also uh, perhaps again leaning a bit more into some of the more traditional drow views. Is She is the overseer for religious affairs within the city, most likely a cleric, you imagine.
Well, this is not a lot, I'm fine.
Yeah, well, in traditional drow society before the fall, obviously, female drow were seen as superior to male drow, and they were the only ones who could serve as clergy. So perhaps there's a little bit of that continuing tradition in their subculture. Who knows? Either way, she's the third speaker.
Yep.
So yeah, so there you go.
All right. We're let in, introduced. We are introduced to them. I'm not going to go through it all.
Okay,
If anybody who wants to know what happened last time, they can watch the last episode. In short order. Well, actually, not in short order. It's going to take a little while because I have questions.
I'll make sure to mention the mic that came up through the miasma before the dragon did
Yeah.
and died. I'm sure they can find. Oh no, they can't find its remains. You blew them across the city with gust of wind.
Well, not all the way across the city.
No, but they might be able to find some remains of it.
Yeah, well, they got a lot of cleanup. If
Yeah,
nothing else, there's got to be several hundred pounds. Oh, actually, more than that.
yeah, but that fell down the crevice somewhere.
Close to a ton of dragon zombie
Yeah,
at the bottom of this hole somewhere.
true, but they may or may not be concerned about that. We don't know.
Yeah, well, they may just use magic to seal up the fissure and be done with it.
Yes, well, I would, if they're asking for advice, I would advise that or they or we investigate what's going on down there before they do that.
All right. So this is what happens.
Yes.
They ask a few questions.
Hmm.
We give our rundown, our recollection of what had happened.
Yep.
There's probably a few more questions afterwards, and then
As long as they don't do that weird police thing where they just go through the same story over and over and over and over and over again for an hour. I'm fine.
no, we're not suspects. They're reasonably intelligent people.
Yes.
They understand. They have a like this mostly.
Yeah. And I assume they have at least a general picture of what happened from other witnesses.
Yeah. Alder River is mostly interested in the magic being used, and actually is kind of impressed because of the level of power that we wielded in such a short period of time.
Yes.
But other than that, it goes rather quite smoothly. And then they said, "Well, we're gonna have to discuss what needs to be done. We have an antechamber here for you to sit down for a few minutes, so we discuss stuff. Uh, would you guys, would you be interested in, uh, if there's a choice or sorry, a decision to proceed here to check what's going on down there? Would you be interested in being part of that?"
Well, it is more or less why we are here as adventurers, so sure, we'll certainly at least undertake the part of the investigation.
All right, that's wonderful to hear. So we're being led to like an antechamber.
Yeah. Basically, a
Uh,
waiting room while they discuss.
well, this is all right. This is a bureaucratic building. Uh, People come with petitions all the time,
Hmm.
uh, and they sit and they listen to them. And the thing is, they don't want everybody in there at once, so they
Yes.
have basically a waiting room. While and then they tell you, okay, you can come in now and then get rid of the next person.
Yeah.
That is what's going on. At the moment, it's empty
Yes.
because,
I assume this is the only thing under discussion at the moment.
well, it's not so much a state of emergency anymore, but it was when
Yes.
everyone was told to go home. Get out of here. We have things that are more important than your petty complaint about your neighbor.
Yeah.
So we're being headed that way when there's a bit of a commotion.
No.
Um, I didn't do the graphics for this because we're not sure how much time we're going to be spending in the Elvish City. Uh, so you got the main chamber. You got a hallway to get in here, and there's some side chambers for people to wait. And as we're coming out the main chamber to head into the waiting room,
Mhm.
we notice the guards are having a bit of an argument. There's two security guards, um, an argument with, um, well, it's hard to tell. Roll a perception check.
With your assistance?
Oh yeah, we're both watching this.
Well, your assistance avoided a natural one.
Good.
Other number's not very good either, though, unfortunately. 10?
Okay. Apparently, our view is slightly obstructed. The guards are standing in front of this individual,
Yeah.
but it's high enough that you notice that the individual is wearing very, very traditional drow attire.
Okay.
And you don't speak Elvish,
No.
and neither do I. This conversation is slightly heated, uh, but it is in a language you don't understand as well. What would you like to do?
Well, I do technically have tongues prepared,
Hmm.
so I could cast that if I want.
Yep,
I don't know how, because that's an action.
yep,
So I could cast that. I'd be able to understand every language and speak it, every language for an hour.
yep. Is that what you want to do?
Well, it might be worth listening into this conversation, so sure. All right.
All right.
So, in our discreet little area by we're being in the little antechamber, I'm going to take out the small clay ziggurat and I'm going to speak a few words and I'm going to cast tongues on myself.
Okay, so you're gonna cast. So I want to get the timing straight here. We've left the main chambers. They've closed the doors,
Yeah,
and our escort is saying, "This is the room here. Would like you to wait for a few minutes."
yeah,
At which time this altercation is happening.
yeah. Are we
Uh,
being somewhat ignored at this point?
well, he's distracted. He's
Yeah,
watching this thing.
yeah,
He's already pointed out the room to us. We're standing there.
yeah,
He's standing there. They're having an argument.
yeah.
Uh, is this the time you want to cast it, or you want to wait till we go in the room?
Well, if we go in the room, I assume there a door? Or is this just like an archway?
Oh no, there's a door.
All right, so we may not be able to hear that through the door, so I would like to somewhat discreetly cast a spell, just cupping the
Well,
ziggurat in my
discreetly
hand.
means
Stuff.
roll, please.
Yes. Don't think I have any. No, I used all my portents last time. All right. It's a good number. 19.
Oh,
On the other hand, elves are very perceptive.
very perceptive, and I rolled for him.
Yeah.
He rolled quite well,
Mhm.
but you do cast your spell. He does notice it after the fact.
Yeah.
Uh, Nothing is blown up, so he's not going to get excited.
Yeah. It's a it's a divination spell. So for the next hour, it doesn't require concentration, just like comprehend languages. I can understand every spoken language, and anyone I speak to understands what I say.
All right. Okay, you're catching kind of the tail end of this at this point.
Yeah, because we were probably catching the end of it, and my initial roll wasn't very good.
So the guard at this point says, "Look, we have important details at the moment. Your concerns will have to wait." And the drow, which you now know is a drow because you know the languages that are being spoken, correct?
Yeah, well,
Do you know the languages or you just understand the languages?
I understand the language. One second. I don't think tongues. It's not like suddenly you get subtitles or anything, and it tells you. Spell grants the creature or you attach the ability to understand any spoken language it hears. Moreover, when the target speaks, any creature that knows at least one language and can hear the target understands what it is saying.
So
So no, but I assume they're having a conversation in Elvish.
yeah, I mean, all right.
Yeah.
It is probably much a given anyway.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
yeah, it doesn't tell me the language spoken, but I understand the language. It translates for me.
roll an intelligence check, please.
Sure. 22.
Oh yeah. They are indeed speaking Elvish.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been around the world enough. Even on the plateau, there was elves, and sometimes they would speak in Elvish by themselves anyway. So
Yes.
uh, the difference is with that higher roll, the Drow individual is speaking a slightly different dialect.
Yeah. So the drow also sometimes know undercommon.
Well, it's not that. It's almost like if you're
A
in a big
dialect?
city. Hmm?
A dialect?
Yeah, it's kind of like he's speaking Elvish, but he's throwing in a lot of colloquialisms,
Yeah.
and he's very agitated. It's almost like someone speaking Cockney in the middle of London kind
Yeah.
of thing. You can understand him. You understand him perfectly. The
Yeah.
guards are getting a little frustrated because, you know, it's anyway, it's just he's not behaving according to how the society is currently operating.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the gentleman, the drow, is saying,
Yeah.
"Look, I don't care about your bureaucracy. My people are in danger. I need to get to see the council. We're supposed to be all one big happy family now. I we need help. There's stuff going on down in the old city, and I mean, I didn't. If you didn't notice the big hole in your street, we certainly did. We need. This is important. No, not going to go away. At this point, let's see if he's. That's enough of a roll. Our escort, who happens also to be the captain of the guard,
Mhm.
and it says one moment to us. He does notice what you did, but he doesn't seem to think it being very important. He marches like very properly
Yeah.
uh, towards this altercation. He says, "Attention!" They,
To the guards, I assume.
oh yeah, they immediately snap to attention.
Yeah.
All right, you are claiming that this incident
Yeah.
is affecting the old Undercity, and
This is just a minor point at this point, but I would have returned the ziggurat to my spell component pouch
okay,
at some point during this.
Yeah, that's fine. And so I'm not claiming anything. This is what actually happened. This stinking old rotten lizard-like thing. Some of my uh, compatriots said it was a dragon, but I can't imagine that. This thing was foul beyond belief. Went through part of the city. Well, most of it's abandoned now, as you know. And then we heard the horrible crashing sound, and uh, I and a few of my friends were sent to investigate. Uh, and we're not sure what was going on up here, but there was rocks raining down. This creature was trying to claw its way out, and we stayed back obviously because we don't get crushed. And there's horrific explosions, and all of a sudden, within a few seconds, this thing came crashing down. And if nothing else, there's a massive cleanup that needs to be done down there. It's just reeking and stinking up most of the old city, and we need stuff done. And on top of that, where did this thing come from? I mean, we're important. Just because we decided to, you know, abide by some of the older traditions doesn't mean that we are not part of the society, right? And anyway, at this point, the captain of the guard cuts him off, says, "Look, we are dealing with this at the moment. If you're interested in seeing the council, I will see what I can do. We have a waiting room here. I want you to go in there, mind your manners, and I'll bring this to their attention. We have a couple things we're going to deal with first, but I'm pretty sure they're interested in hearing what you have to say. Let's see if he listens."
All right.
Ah, oh, that's so borderline. All right. Simply because there are three well-armed men right in front of him
Yes.
is fine. You know he's not happy.
No.
Um, but the three of them escort him towards the room that we are going to be going in.
All right. We
At
should
which point,
probably go walk into the room before they get here
yeah,
and try and make it look slightly less obvious that we were eavesdropping.
sure. All right, so we go in. It is indeed a waiting room. There's chairs, there's a table, there's a pitcher of water, some glasses,
Yes.
bowl of fruit. Nothing. It's just it's just
It's
standard.
simple.
That's simple. Are you gonna sit down in a chair and wait, or
Yes, I will.
all right? So we sit, we wait for a couple seconds,
Yeah.
and anyway, he comes in, he opens the door, says, "In here. This may take a bit of time, but be patient." And you can see he's just fuming. But he has no choice in the matter because he needs their help.
Yes. You can't exactly complain about the powers that be actually helping you with your problem.
Yeah, so anyway, he comes in, door's closed. He sees us.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder when was the last time he saw a non-elf.
He's not hiding his, I wouldn't call it disgust. He's not, he doesn't think we're worthy of his attention, really. And he's got stuff on his mind. He's
Yes.
pacing back and forth. If you imagine a rectangular room, we're on one side, table's in the middle, he's on the other side, and he's going back and forth. And he's wearing a hole in the floor.
Yeah.
Do you want to engage him in any kind of conversation?
Well, you said there was a pitcher of water and some cups.
Yep,
Right. Well, I'm going to take the pitcher of water and I'm going to pour out some water for you and myself.
yep.
And I'm going to take a third cup and fill that with water and offer it to him and see how that goes to start with.
All right. I would like you just to roll a standard little charisma check here, see how you're coming across.
That is hard to call if that is cock or not.
I'm gonna roll it again, who cares?
Yeah.
This is not like the
Oh, natural 20.
oh, hmm. He accepts it. and he mumbles something in what you assume is just elvish.
Elvish. Yeah.
He
Which I
doesn't,
understand.
which you understand, but he doesn't know you understand it. Says, city's going down. I mean, they let anybody in now. But he's smiling.
Yes, he's smiling, but bad mouthing foreigners in a language he can't thinks that we can't understand.
Yes, you can speak Elvish now, and actually, if you choose,
Technically speaking, if he understands common, I can just speak to him in common, but yeah.
yeah. But if you want to show off,
Mhm.
which I might suggest,
Which is what you would do.
which is what I would do, you can actually speak to him in his dialect.
Yeah.
So,
I'll just comment then idly after I take a drink of water. Says, we were able to deal with the dragon zombie. So perhaps it isn't a terrible idea that more foreigners are allowed in the city. If the spell will allow me to say that in Elvish, I will.
well, you can speak any. All right.
I
The way
can,
this,
the words I speak are translated
yes,
so they can understand me.
yes, and his preferred method of understanding is his dialect of Elven.
Yeah,
This actually throws him for quite a loop. First off, that you speak not just Elvish, but a dialect of Elvish that's not really even spoken here
yeah,
because I think it's kind of archaic.
yes,
He's, adhering to traditions that have, well, for the most part, from his point of view, been neglected by these bureaucratic people.
we'll just overlook the fact that if he was really adhering to the traditions of ancient Drow customs, he would be a second-class citizen in his own society.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of along the lines of what druids used to be like in the real world,
Yeah,
and druids are like now.
yeah,
It's a watered down version. It
yes,
is just them paying lip service more than anything else to some old traditions that they thought were worth hanging on to, and
yes.
obviously not anywhere near what it should be.
No, basically, there he's championing the old ways largely because he doesn't have to live under them.
Yeah, and on top of that, he just doesn't like all this bureaucracy. He doesn't believe that we should all get along. But anyway,
Technically speaking, I'm pretty sure Drow society was rather bureaucratic too. But anyway,
oh, I'm sure it is. I mean, all of this is massively misplaced.
yes,
But often when these little factions, get their backup about something, it is often misplaced.
yes,
But anyway, back to the story.
yes,
He is truly surprised. First off,
yeah,
that you spoke to him in a language that he seems to prefer.
yes,
Secondly, that we too were the ones that destroyed this huge thing that they couldn't handle, the
yeah,
thing that they were coming to here to hopefully get aid with.
yes.
At this point,
I won't make it. I won't add to the fact that we did it with ease because that's probably just too much showing off.
uh, he does realize
That we're probably pretty whole.
that we're first off, we're not damaged,
Well,
but
you're a little bit. You recovered a little bit of that short rest.
yeah. Um, on top of that, he knows how long that battle took.
Yeah, not long.
No, it was maybe two, three explosions from his point of view, and this thing came plummeting down. Much the worse for wear.
Yes. Yeah, it was falling apart by the time we put it down.
Yeah, and that long fall and the sudden stop at the end, mostly. Uh,
Probably, yeah. We won't give too vivid a description of that.
yeah, it's yeah, and at this point, he seems to be stumbling over some words for a few moments. You're not sure what he's
Yeah,
trying
I
to say.
thrown him for a little bit of a loop.
Yeah, he's flabbergasted. He's anyway. Yeah, a few moments go by.
I think this is the best use I've gotten out of the spell.
He takes a long drink of water,
Yeah.
puts the cup down, gathers himself together, and says, I think maybe I came here to speak to the wrong people. I think maybe instead, and by the way, at this point, he's speaking common.
Yes.
He's decided that, you know, being a pig-headed drow with a chip on his shoulder is not going to get him what he wants anymore.
No.
So he's decided to be reasonable. He's still angry, but
Mm.
he's got it under control. He says, a fair number of us live in the old well. He said, I'm not going to go into all the geography of this, but there is relatively nearby uh, an old drow city, the one that's been there for time immemorial. And some of us, not many, but a number of us, think that it is preferable. It's mostly because it's just way too bright up here. Um, and some things have been happening lately that are, uh, well, frightening us. This is stuff that's never happened before. And this dragon zombie that you called it
Mm.
is just the most current instance. We've been trying to petition uh, for some military aid. Um, so far, all we've got met with is, well, if you're having trouble down there, move here and we can protect you. And that seems to be the status quo point of view of these modern elves.
Yeah. Well, it is somewhat understandable that they, I think to myself, that they probably would not want to waste resources trying to defend a old abandoned city that basically a handful of drow are just too stubborn to leave from their point of view.
Let's After some more conversation with them,
Yeah.
you realize it's not just a handful. It's not somewhere. It's under 100.
Yes.
There's enough there to maintain a population. Enough there for them to forage and grow what they need to eat and that sort of stuff. And they do obviously from time to time do trade with the city itself.
Yes.
Uh, the problem with it is it's a very old city
Yes.
and in disrepair.
Yeah,
And
they're basically
literally,
living in a ruin.
yeah, for all intents and purposes, a good chunk of it is ruined.
Yes.
It was a pre-fall city that got thoroughly trashed during the fall.
Yeah.
And like I said, these guys weren't living there then, obviously. They have moved back. You'll notice that this guy, as an elf, is quite young. Um, you figure this might be a little bit, well, think of it along the lines of Lands of Lore, Guardians of Destiny.
Yeah.
These are the young, disillusioned with the current situation kind of people who
Yeah.
are just trying to, you know, get away from what
Yeah.
they're considering oppression.
So, yeah, he's basically an adolescent elf,
Yeah,
which in elvish terms means he can be anywhere between, I think, 20 and 95.
he's a lot older than us.
Yes, but I understand he's probably young for an elf, which means he's at that rebellious teenage stage, despite the fact that he's a lot older than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So there are some. So, bottom line is, in my mind, there's a settlement of rebellious drow that don't necessarily like the way things are currently being done. So they're living in a small section of an abandoned ruined city of theirs,
Yep.
and
Uh,
they're now running into problems with it.
well, for the longest time, it was fine.
Yes.
But lately, the last few months,
Mhm.
some things have been happening. Things that well, first off, a couple people went missing.
Yeah.
Originally, they just thought that they had moved back to town. Um,
Yeah, I imagine they don't keep too much of a census.
Yeah, it's a small enough community that most of them know each other.
Yeah,
But
which definitely means they notice when someone goes missing.
yeah, so they've oh, that part wasn't so much. But then again, they've had noticed that there were some odd magics being used. Hard to put a finger out. None of them are magic users. They are able to take care of themselves, but they've noticed uh, more recently
Mhm.
uh, some of the denizens down there are acting very unusually. This is just the latest.
Yeah.
This dragon zombie. Uh,
Well, I imagine it might be the latest, but I imagine it's also probably a bigger issue than they've had to deal with compared to everything else. Otherwise, they'd probably be bringing this to the council's attention much sooner.
no, most of the problems with the few Draugr. Do you know what they are? He asks.
Well, I I know what Draugr are in mythology, so this is
Do you know what they are in our world? Roll an Arcana check.
yeah,
Oh, no, a nature check.
nature. Okay, I just want to ask: is this Draugr or Dwerger?
I can't pronounce it.
Okay,
Just roll, and I'll tell you what they are or not.
all right. So nature
Yep.
at 25.
All right. You know that there is a civilization of dwarves,
Yes. Okay. So these are Dwerger.
Draugr, Dwerg, whatever.
No, there is a big difference.
Okay. These guys,
Yes.
obviously have been down there forever.
I think they're also sometimes called deep dwarves.
Yeah. And, well, they're not nice. They're not.
No, well, sugarcoat the fact that in technically in Dungeons and Dragons terms, neither are drow,
Yeah.
but they are
But,
also probably well a cross between old allies and old rivals for space down there, I imagine.
yeah, well, I mean, they got hit pretty hard during the fall as well.
Mhm.
But for the most part, we just stayed each other's ways.
Yeah,
Every now and then, a hunting party of either will run into each other, and sometimes there's a conflict. But lately, something is odd happening. He says we're running into Draugr that are acting almost possessed.
okay, that is that is
And
cause for concern.
yeah, especially seeing how they seem to have glowing yellow-green eyes.
Yep. Okay, that's I presume I can tell from my 25 nature check that that's not normal.
That's not normal. Nope. We've had some altercations with them. Um, Skirmishes, really.
Yeah.
Nothing major. But lately, it seems to be wrapping up. Again, I've been trying to petition for military aid, but it has fallen on deaf ears. I'm hoping, he doesn't have much hope, you can tell by what he says
Yeah.
that this recent incursion into this city is going to maybe make them think that, it's time to actually do some, real investigation of what's going on down there.
Yeah, just as a side to you, it says this is the second thing. So, in the event we've technically had where there's something from the some sort of subterranean threat or influence stirring up trouble in this region.
Yeah,
Just thinking back to the crown of thorns we dealt with the druid, that also came from some sort of underground ruin.
also because of a sinkhole or fissure opening up an area. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's starting to look like there's some connected issues at work here.
This does seem to be some form of pattern forming, yes.
Yeah,
We, well, we're here for a reason.
yeah,
So, figuring out what's going on in this area.
yeah.
I'm not sure if it's connected to our problem. I'm not going to
No,
say it anyway, but it is something we should definitely investigate to see if there's a possibility that they are connected.
true. It is entirely possible. We haven't. we don't know exactly how far we are from Dracomir, which is where we're technically trying to look into. But
Yeah, we actually don't even know how to get there.
no, well, it's an island in the middle of a lake or mere, I assume, so a swamp possibly at the edge of this forest.
That's a huge lake.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes, and
Um,
it's not a small island from the map either. So we saw
no,
there's a lot
yeah.
of ground to cover. But I suppose it is possible that there's some degree of connection to these underground issues and that. We'll have to investigate to find out.
All right. At this point, as we're having this conversation,
Yes.
the door opens, and the captain of the guards there, and he says, "All right, this is unusual, but will the three of you please come with me?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, just out of curiosity, how much time have we been sitting here?
Your spell's still going.
Okay, my spell's still going.
Yep, you got about maybe half of it left.
All right, so we've been sitting about half an hour, so I have about half an hour left of it.
Yeah.
Okay, just might as well make full use of this as we can.
Okay, so we get let in.
Mhm.
Uh, Nothing really has changed from when we were here before. There's a few official clerk-like people coming and going, still handing papers back and forth. Nothing other than that. So they sit there and they say, "Well, we have come to a few decisions here. Obviously, it has been remiss of us not to have investigated the city, the old city earlier. You have our apologies for that. I would like to say that it has nothing to do with our recent problems as well, but we do definitely want to do what we can to help your compatriots, your fellow drow in the old city. Roll a
Insight,
insight. Um, yeah, just roll one insight.
natural 20.
All right, you notice a couple of things. First off, he doesn't mean it.
No?
No,
No. Okay.
he's not feeling sorry for what happened because his, he's given them more than enough opportunity to stop with this stupid little,
Yeah, this
wil
is.
wilderness camp thing that they have going down there and prancing around bonfires and not doing, basically just
Yeah.
avoiding responsibilities.
Yes, this is the government looking at listening to complaints from basically a bunch of squatters who are living off the grid for all intents and purposes, and they're here listening to them now bring in complaints of issues they're having with it.
Yeah, he looks at it as, look, they're not contributing to society. They're not helping at all.
No.
They're just, you know, wanting our assistance when things aren't going the way that they want them to go.
Yes.
With that natural 20 as well,
Yeah.
you notice that our companion here
Yeah.
is not buying any of this.
All right.
He
Yeah. So.
knows for a fact that this is all just BS because, well, hey, there's a hole in my ground now and I got to do something about it, I
Yeah.
guess. But they're all being very pleasant about it.
Yeah.
And he says, look, this is going to take a bit of time to organize. We need to, first off, secure the fissure. We need to investigate the immediate area. Um, but fortunately, uh,
I thought this was going to be heading towards us.
we have these two very powerful adventurer mages. This is Alder River talking now,
Yeah.
who impressed us with their abilities
Mhm.
and also have expressed an interest in exploring underneath our city and figuring out, if this is all connected or whatever. And I would like to hire you to first off go into the Undercity
Mhm.
and um, assess the situation, see if there's actually any real threat here, or is this one-time concern, while we get ourselves organized and get the army mobilized and see what we can do about actually rendering some real military assistance.
Yeah. So this is yeah, we're used to this story.
Working off of your natural 20.
Yeah.
They're stalling for time.
Yes.
They're hoping we're going to solve the problem for them.
Yeah.
And they're hoping it's all just going to go away.
To be fair to them, we do have a track record with doing that.
Well, that's probably working against us now because Alder River is in
Is in contact with Lyria, specifically Malzra.
with Malzra specifically. And I'm sure they've, played an odd game of chess every now and then, and he's been regaled of all the activities of these two adventure wizards.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure word of the fact us dealing with the issues in Vern's Run has reached his ears, and he's probably hoping for a repeat occurrence.
Yeah, and well, Ilyanka as well, and a
Yeah,
bunch of other stuff.
and the Isle of Fog. Yeah,
Yeah, so he's just you could. I'm just gonna milk that nat 20.
yeah,
Uh,
fine.
that you, it's just so blatant that he is figuring send these two guys. They'll clean up the mess.
Yep. And if
Uh,
we don't, it hasn't cost them anything, which is the other benefits to using adventuring parties as vanguards like this.
yeah. So
Oh well, a promising career cut short. Well, let's see what our actual solution will be now. Obviously, none of this I'm not saying any of this aloud. This is all internal.
yeah. So
We're used to this by this point.
yeah, we've done with bureaucracy. I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't move quickly and it's not efficient.
No,
And if they can get a problem to go away, they're more than happy to let it go away.
yes. Well, the good news is, as far as this drow population is concerned in this Undercity, is we do have a track record of being able to actually manage that, and we also tend to act a bit more quickly.
Yes, we are actually capable.
Yes.
All right. So after much,
Discussion, because yes,
these things
they're
take
not
time.
called speakers for no reason.
Yeah. Uh, we are finally said, well, um, do what you can.
Mhm.
We will, uh, get our wheels in motion, and please keep us abreast of any kind of developments.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, in response to that, will say, well, I suggest then uh, Jonas and I will retire for the day and head out in the morning to try and solve this problem because we have. I'm going to basically use the fact that we dealt with the dragon zombie already as an excuse for us to, not
get
do much more today, and then we'll start tomorrow, mostly because I want to take a long rest and prepare different spells.
All right.
I don't think anyone's gonna have an issue with that.
All right. Well, our young drow companion,
Mhm.
who unfortunately does not have a name,
Yeah.
I didn't make one up.
Anyway.
I'll call him Bob, but you wouldn't like that.
Anyway.
He says, fine.
Yeah.
He says, I'll meet you by the Fisher
Yeah.
Crack it on.
Yes. I don't think anyone's going to have issue with us taking necessary precautions for this sort of thing.
No, it,
Yeah. He
it's,
was probably wasn't expecting.
I wasn't expecting anything.
Yeah.
Hoping.
Yeah.
Uh, he's not entirely sure that this is something that, he doesn't think that we're going to be able to, live up to what, all these people have been saying about us. But
At least something's being done.
and possibly sometime in the near future, an army will be sent.
Yeah.
So he's kind of thinking this win-win, but we'll see.
Well, needless to say, I've definitely talked us into at least getting a long rest before we go look into this problem.
Well, it was about lunch when we sat down.
Mhm.
Uh, this has been going on a couple hours. Uh, we're looking at, mid-afternoon now anyway.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, we go back to our hotel.
Or, yeah, our apartment basically.
Yeah. Our rooms, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
And yeah, we tell him that we'll meet him by the Fisher in the morning.
Yes.
So you have the rest of the afternoon and evening to yourself. What would you like to do with that?
All right.
Somebody wants out.
All
All
right.
right. No, I got it. Go. Go. Keep going. So yeah, if you want to change spells around,
Yeah. Well, I definitely want us to get a long rest before we look into this because we are down some spell slots. You're still injured a little bit.
yeah,
And the spells we have prepared are not perhaps the best for exploring a subterranean city or network of caverns.
yes, I will have a quick look at my spell list
Mhm.
just because.
Well, I should probably keep tongues prepared because that came in handy there, and it's probably only going to continue to become in handy down there.
All right, what do we got? One, two, three. All right. I can't really fiddle with my spell list too much because I know what's coming up. So I'll leave it as is.
I'm going to try at least a few of my new spells. Yeah, that should do. All right, so we are getting a long rest then?
Yes.
All right.
And because we're crossing dawn, I get to roll for my wand of magic missiles. Come on, let's go for a third six in a row.
Sure, we spent most of it on that dragon zombie.
Yeah. So that is no, not a full charge.
All right. The Ring of the Ram will be fully charged though, if you want to attune to that instead.
Wand of magic missiles, I don't need attunement for. But
No,
the ring of the rain, yes, I will reattune that and not attune to my ring of spell storing.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
good to go.
Yeah, so I swapped my spells around.
All right.
The only other thing I really want to do is uh, cast Mage Armor before we go down into the actual fissure.
All right. So that's not yet.
No.
Okay.
But I am going to mark off the spell slot and say it now.
All right. Just in case we forgot to do it later.
Just in case something escalates that forces us to do so immediately, because that has happened in the past.
Yep. All right. We do our usual hut and sentries and alarms.
Yeah.
Morning comes. There's nothing else we want to do. We'll just pass through all that.
Yeah.
Have a quick breakfast, and we head to the Fisher,
Yes.
where we meet with our drow friend.
Yeah.
And he says, ready?
Yes. I will cast Mage Armor myself before I go down there. So,
Okay.
usual display of uh, pages of abjuration magic flipping out of the book and adhering to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to give me a little extra protection.
Yeah.
And then I assume we're going to get out our ropes of climbing because they are literally designed for this sort of thing.
Well, you'll notice that he has it already set up. He
Okay.
has a rather large rope dangling down into the hole.
Yeah. How much of that miasma is coming out of this crevice at the fissure at this point?
Uh, Up here,
Yeah.
nothing.
All right. So I mean, it's not going to be an immediate issue then.
No, but you do know that. As we get closer to that rotting zombie corpse,
It's going to, yeah.
it's going to start stinking.
To be fair, we don't know how much of an issue that's going to be for me, at least with my periapt, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yes.
All right, I guess let's start heading down then.
All right. So he grabs the rope and he starts
Yeah, so
rappelling.
he's going down first, is he?
Oh, he knows where he's going.
Yeah,
We're not going. He says we're not going all the way to the bottom.
yeah.
There's a side tunnel.
Okay.
So I would like you to roll a dexterity check, please.
Yep. It'd be annoying if I. Okay, that's straight dexterity.
Yep.
12.
All right. Also, just in case you got a really bad number.
Yeah. Well, we do not have the dexterity of grace of elves.
No, he actually is far ahead of us by the
Yeah.
time we're, proceeding. And within a short period of time, actually, we can't see him anymore because it gets quite dark.
Yeah. Well, without casting light cantrips, I can focus for a few moments and concentrate my mind and use my third eye ability to gain dark vision.
All right. Well, you can lead the way then, because
Yeah.
unless I cast light on my staff, actually, I can do that. I'll just cast light.
Yeah, so uh oh, so my dark vision is probably kind of wasted then.
Well, technically, I could change my stone to dark vision, but
Yeah, that
uh,
was part of the reason I was doing this is so
yeah, I have to cast light.
yeah. All right. Yeah, so until we finish a short or long rest, I have dark vision at range of 60 feet.
Well, that's fine because you
Yeah.
can scout ahead or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, we go down a fair distance.
Yeah.
You notice that there are two elvish ropes knotted together, not just one.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
we go down about 80 feet. The smell is getting kind of nauseating,
Yeah, I
but
assume
not enough yet that we'd have to roll for, a constitutions check.
I assume that's whatever's left of the dragon zombie down there.
Yeah, it is still further below us. When we come to a side passage,
Yes.
and that's where our friend is standing. He says, "Yeah,
All right.
this way,"
This way.
and he does the trick, and the two ropes untie each other. He rolls it back up,
Yes.
and we head onto a side passage that leads still more down. And he says this is going to be quite a hike. Says the old city is not actually anywhere near, uh, uh, well, the new city, I guess.
Yes.
And he says, "Okay," and off we go. Hours go by, and he says, "Yeah, are you guys?" Oh, one sec. Says, "Yeah, this is probably a good time to take a break."
All right.
Says,
So we'll take a short break.
"Yeah, we'll take a short rest.
Yeah.
No need."
At the end
No
of which
need.
I will renew my third eye ability for dark vision
Yep.
because it only lasts until I take a short or long rest.
Yeah, you can
But I get
regain.
it back on a short or long rest, so I can just do it again.
Yeah, and you can regain that spell slot if you like.
Yes, I will.
I have cast light a number of times.
Yes, as opposed to just switching your stone to dark vision.
Well, yeah.
You do realize that down here, that light cantrip is going to probably be a bright beacon to any predators down here.
Yeah, but we're in a passageway at the moment.
At the moment, yes. Just going forward, that may not be as advisable.
Oh, sorry. Our buddy doesn't seem to have an opinion at the moment.
Hmm.
Uh, if we're gonna have this conversation, he says, "Nah, you don't have to worry about it yet.
Okay.
This is this passageway is relatively secure because this is our way of getting in and out. Well,
Yes.
until that happened, this is our way of getting into the city."
I don't say anything to that, but I mentally note yes. But clearly, your security isn't quite as good as it could be,
No.
just based on what he's been telling us.
Yeah. All right.
And then we
So
resume walking, I assume.
we resume walking after a short break,
Yeah.
and we come to, well, the passageway ends into a secret door, which he opens,
Yep.
and then it is opening up into a chasm, not a chasm, sorry, a cavern,
Cavern. Yep.
a rather large cavern. He says at this point, from now on, uh, there is more of a possibility of running into anything. He's looking at my bright glowing staff.
Yep. Well, I suppose it's up to
Well,
you whether or not you douse the cantrip or not.
I will burn a first level spell slot.
All right. So I assume you're dousing your cantrip and switching your stone to
The dark vision.
the dark vision.
I'm annoyed because I don't like getting rid of my constitution, but that's fine.
Yeah. Well, it might help.
It might help. So it says I would like we should probably move a little bit more cautiously from now on. So I would like a stealth check from you.
Yeah.
Go for one as well.
Yeah. Just 12.
Okay. Uh, moving relatively quiet. I figure we're above passive anyway.
Yeah. At this
And
point, unless something is specifically looking for prey, they're probably not going to notice us.
no, the rest of the afternoon into the evening now goes by uneventfully. Says tomorrow, probably somewhere between midday and
Oh yeah, so he wasn't kidding that the city's far away.
yeah, it is actually quite a hike. We should get to the outskirts of the old city.
Yep.
So we set up camp. We'll just use the hut and everything. He can sit inside if he wants.
Yep. We'll do our usual routine.
Yep. And
Guess I'll take first watch.
you can take first watch.
All right. Well, that's a natural 19 for a total of 26.
Okay. You're wide awake tonight.
Yes.
Probably because this is the first time we've actually rested, or sorry, had a long rest underground in quite some time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes. And the
with the
last
fountain.
time,
With the fountain.
yes, was the pound.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm also probably experimenting with my new dark vision ability down here.
Yeah. So this is, for all intents and purposes, really, really quiet.
Yep. I imagine there's not a lot of noise down here.
You do hear kind of what you might consider a low subharmonic of a rumble, kind of like the earth moving subtly.
Well, we have had examples of that.
Yeah.
The fissure.
There are a few actual things that went by during the night.
Yep.
Some more myconids. Uh, they seem to be like a small group went by. They didn't notice us at all, of course.
Yeah.
We are not, and once we're in the hut there, we're just blend right in. And
Yes.
they don't really have any magical skills. You did also notice some form of creature. Can you roll a nature check? Or no, make it Arcana because this would fit better.
All right. I think it's the same roll for me.
Yeah, you have both.
Yeah. 23.
At the very, very extremity of your dark vision
Yeah.
was a creature that was coming by. Well, a second, see if it's going to actually notice us. It seems to be stalking the myconids
All right.
very quietly. Um, that all passed by into another chamber. You don't hear anything about it, but you did notice it was a very odd looking thing. It was very insectoid like,
All right.
but it was right at the very, very edge of your dark vision.
All right. So something rather obscure. Well, I imagine there's a great many things down here that I don't possess knowledge of.
No, and mostly that was because you had um, very limited amount of actually being able to see what it is.
Mm.
So I wake you up. Sorry, you
I
wake
wake
me up,
you up.
and I do my stint.
Yeah.
Ugh, apparently, I'm not very wide awake and observant. I have nothing to report in the morning, no matter what happened.
Okay.
So,
We
morning
do get a long
comes,
rest then?
we get a long rest. Dawn is cracked again, and we get up, have our breakfast, and we move on. Mark off. I actually don't bother with food. We're not going to be down here that long. But we mark off a day's worth of food if
Yeah.
you want to keep track of that. It'd actually be 2 days worth of food.
Okay.
So we continue. We
Yes.
break for lunch. We do hear things from time to time,
Yeah.
but
Uh, I do renew my mage armor at the start of the new day and my dark vision.
all right. I don't have to renew mine. It just
Yeah.
is until I change it.
Yes.
Uh, about noon. We're
Yes.
beginning to think about settling down for lunch. We do hear something. We're not sure what it is. It's very distant. He says that is coming from the direction of the old city. He said, "Yeah, I would like you to roll a perception check, and I'll do the same for us too." Oh, well,
21.
yeah, we're all rolling really well on this one.
Yeah.
He says that sounds like combat,
All right then.
and we all agree.
Yeah.
Sounds like metal on metal.
All right.
And he
I
says,
assume we're
"Well,
going
if
to be
you're
picking
up,
up the pace at this point.
hmm?
I assume we're going to be picking up the pace at that.
Yeah." He says, "If you're up to it, we should really ramp up our pace here, just in case something important happens. So
All
I'd
right.
like you to do is roll a Constitution check, please."
All right. All right. Well, that's a 9.
Okay. Um, this little jaunt's not even affecting me at all.
Mhm.
But you and our guide wind rather quickly, and we have to slow down. It's, it's, you can tell that he's not accustomed to this. He's for all intents and purposes, he's acting like a city boy
Yeah.
who is out in the country pretending to be a country boy
Yeah.
who unfortunately doesn't have the stamina for it.
Yes.
You just, I don't know, didn't have a good night's sleep or something. But yeah, we continue on. You both failed the DC. Um, I'm not going to run ahead.
No.
So continue. This is going to take almost exactly the amount of time it would have taken anyway. The sounds of what we thought were combat die out long,
Yeah.
long before.
If we fail that check, we're not getting there before that fight ends.
No. Oh yeah, no, we weren't getting there anyway. But if we could make that check, at least we would cut the time in half. But we're not going to. So because you guys are winded, we do end up taking a lunch break anyway, just so you can catch your breath, and then we'll go for another Constitution check to see if we can get there in any shorter amount of time.
Mm. That's another 9.
Well, our little buddy here seems to have got his second win, but unfortunately, we're being slowed down by you.
Yep.
So we do uh, get there, but
Yep.
pretty much not much. We might have saved maybe a half hour on the journey.
Yeah.
We're just not up to it, I guess, at this point in time.
Even if
So,
we were running there, if it took us this long to get there, we weren't getting there before the fight was over anyway.
oh no, the fight ended long ago.
Yeah.
The fight ended, whatever it was, before we sat down for our lunch.
Yeah.
All right, so we I'm going to click over to the next image, but we're not going to get to quite this part of it yet. One sec. There we are.
All right.
We are way down here.
All
Uh,
right. So we're on this side of the image.
we're off the image. We are getting to what's starting to look like ruins.
Yeah.
Uh, and I mean, a large cavern. And he says, "Welcome to," and he says something in Elvish.
Yeah.
"This is the old city.
All right.
This is where my people lived for centuries, and you can tell it is very much in disrepair.
Yeah.
It says most of this is just empty buildings. Uh, we don't we don't bother with most of it. It's just uh, this population, its old population was more than what's currently above, but now it's all abandoned.
Yeah. All
Uh,
right. Two things. First of all, is that bridge spanning a massive chasm?
we don't see that yet.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Second of all, I want to look around for signs of conflict because we
yeah,
heard fighting.
yeah, go
It's
for it.
died down at this point. So, with your assistance, I'd like to look around for that.
Go for it.
Would this be perception then?
Yeah,
All right. 22.
no, no
I
signs of
don't see anything.
nothing.
Okay then.
Um, I mean, this part of the city that we're coming into initially, uh, no one's been here in forever.
Mhm,
The path we're on, the stone path that we're on, which passes for a roadway,
mhm.
does show some signs of traffic, but only a small amount. No one really comes this way,
Okay.
except apparently our buddy here and the odd other, uh, you know, group trying to petition stuff from above or do trade. So we continue on. The city's huge. About a half hour to 45 minutes later, we are beginning to get into this area.
All right.
We can't see the bridge yet, but we do come to a couple of buildings that are in much better state of repair.
Mhm.
At this point, I'll let you work off that last roll for perception. You do notice a few bloodstains.
All right.
You do notice some aspects of what might be the aftermath of combat. And at the moment, nothing's going on. There's a lookout who says something in Elvish, and he responds, and we head into one of the buildings,
All right.
one of the buildings that have been repaired.
Okay.
Check them out. Anyway, go in there. At that point, you do see probably about three, four, what look like somewhat wounded individuals who have been bandaged
Yeah.
and are reclining and resting. And he goes up immediately to a couple of people,
Mhm.
and they're having a conversation in Elvish.
Yes.
And they all have
I don't have
du
tongues cast at the moment.
these guys have some very dubious looks as they look at us, and he's explaining, pointing to us, and then explaining something to them, and you get the feeling, well, roll an insight check.
All right. 13.
You kind of get the impression of we sent you to get some military aid, and this is what you came back with.
Yeah.
That kind of impression, because they're not hiding it. In short order, though, after a bit of arguing from the young guy,
Mhm.
they switch over to common so that we can understand what's going on.
Yes.
And they say, all right, if you guys are here to help, this guy seems little bit older, not a lot older.
Yeah.
Probably, if he were human, maybe a couple years older than us.
Yeah.
Says, well, if you're here to help, we can use it.
What attacked you this time, I'll ask.
Apparently, there's a bridge up ahead, and apparently the Draugr and a troll are trying to make their way across the bridge, and it looks like they're setting up for more of a major sort of assault. We held them off initially. Some of us are wounded. There's still uh, contingent at the bridge. Um, so far, nothing's happened, but we expect in short order that they're going to attempt to assault this settlement.
Yeah.
And we have to stop them.
Yeah. Just
And
gonna look around at their weapons and equipment. Do they look even remotely? I haven't fought Dwargar before, but we have fought trolls. Do they even look like they're equipped to handle a troll and its regeneration capabilities? This would probably be a check of
Make
some
that a,
sort.
yeah, make that an intelligence check, please.
All right, 22.
All right. We've fought trolls. We've
Yes.
fought dwarves. Have we? No.
No, we haven't really. We fought alongside dwarves. We never fought dwarger.
Yeah. Would Dwarger fit under a nature check or arcana check?
Probably nature. They're just the people.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Um, that would be an 11.
All right, not good enough for any of the details, but yeah, they're dwarves. They're
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
Uh, well
Probably
armed,
good at combat.
well armored,
Yeah.
and yeah, they like combat. These
And
guys,
obviously, we know what a troll is like, and if you can't hit it with acid or fire, it just keeps healing.
yeah, uh, um, these guys are lightly armored, um, mostly leathers. They do have some really nice swords.
Mhm.
Some of them have some serious nicks in them now.
Mhm.
They have seen combat. Um, they don't seem to have what it would take to survive a contingent of dwarves and trolls.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't see any. Well, obviously, enchanted weapons, nicked and damaged swords usually aren't enchanted.
No,
I don't see
you don't.
any apparent
Yeah.
magic users in their group. So unless they have vials of acid or alchemy fire concealed on their person somewhere, they're probably
All
not
right.
going to be able to handle a troll.
You see
Yeah.
what would amount to a bunch of teenagers. Uh, they're, they're not. They are armored, but lightly armored.
Yes.
Uh, Elves don't usually go for heavy armor anyway.
No, they're
Uh,
naturally dexterous.
yeah, they have swords. There are a couple spears.
Yeah.
There's some bows. Um, not very many arrows. They do seem to be a little bit depleted, I would say, in their ability to hold off anything.
Yeah. I mean, this is not this is not looking good.
It's not inspiring confidence in you, I can give you that.
No.
And
And I know exactly how difficult it can be to take down a troll.
yeah,
I mean, they can't kill a troll with this equipment, as far as I'm concerned.
they can. It would take an awful lot of repeated blows consistently
Yep.
to take it down.
From
And
what I
then,
remember of trolls, I don't think they die unless you burn them or with acid or fire.
yeah, although it won't kill it, but you can knock it down and then, of course, use a bonfire or whatever to throw it in.
Yeah.
It will eventually go down. Uh,
Yes.
but yeah, during that time, you've lost a whole pile of people.
I'm not confident in their ability to do so though.
No,
No.
no. You
I
get
mean,
the
even if they
impression
go at it
that
with torches, it's not going to be that effective.
they are playing at this.
Yes.
They were rebellious, and now they're paying the price.
Yeah.
So the so-called leader of this little pack says, "Well, we could use the help."
Yes. I say,
So
adding to myself in my mind, obviously. That is apparent. All right.
if he says if in the kind of tone that
Yeah.
you would engender, well, mostly no real confidence. If what he's saying is accurate, and you were responsible for killing that dragon zombie, then maybe we have hope. Says, let's go to the where the bridge is.
Yeah. Yes, we're going to need someone to guide us there, but apart from that, it says we'll see what we're dealing with and then come up with a plan.
You can't get lost.
No, I know.
The road, the road heads
I,
directly there.
yes. So he wants to come with us then?
Oh no, they're all coming,
Oh,
except the wounded guys.
I was going
And
to suggest that most of you stay back and defend the wounded, but well,
uh,
this is their home. I suppose they want to fight and die for it. I can't really tell them not to.
there's a small problem. You got a bunch of uh, well, the warriors are pretty much evenly split between genders.
Yeah,
There's a handful of female drow that are not armored and are doing most of the tending to the wounded.
yeah.
they're the ones staying behind. Uh,
Yes, and from what I can tell, not tending them with magic, I assume. All right, so just some sort of someone with some herb lore training and some basic medicine skills.
all right, because I have a trained eye in this. Oh, let's have this go see
Yeah,
here. All right, just because I have a trained eye in this, I tell you on the way out. Yeah, they need more than that.
yeah. Oh no,
Some of those wounds look like they may start festering.
yeah. As much as they're not going to like hearing this, it might be best to get them to that elvish city.
Yeah, well, let's just see what their problem is
Yeah.
first.
Which and see if we can deal with it. I say whisper to you because I am not. I have absolutely no confidence in their ability to fight off a group of very angry dwarves and a troll.
Yeah, so as we walk there, our escort,
Yeah.
which is what's left of their functioning military might,
And I assume they're our initial guide.
and our guide,
Yeah.
about to 5 people.
All right. Who have leather armor, short
Sword.
swords, spears, and short bows?
No, they actually have longbows.
All right, that's something at least.
And they have maybe what amounts to between them a full quiver of arrows.
So 20 arrows being divided among 5 people. That's 4 shots each. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. If
And we do approach, well,
this bridge.
we're on the map now.
Yeah.
We're coming up the street. What we see is 2 towers.
Yeah. Former watchtowers by looks of it.
Yep. And they look like they've been reinforced a little bit on some sides, but you can see they're really
Yeah.
deteriorated.
Well, it's not terrible. It's better fortification than they'll find out in,
Yeah. And across this bridge is a makeshift barrier, just piled
yeah,
stuff.
which is not going to stand up to a troll.
No. Now, this bridge that you see now
Mhm.
is not in this good a repair.
Oh, that's not what I wanted to hear.
It looks solid.
Yeah.
Uh,
Made of
you,
solid stone, I assume.
yeah, no, no, it was at one point in time, this was a phenomenal bit of craftsmanship.
Yeah.
That was just unfortunately a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it's seen some combat, so it is a bit worn out.
Yep. I'm getting images of Moria in my head at this point
Yeah,
because this looks like a massive chasm.
yeah. Okay, you can't see in it yet. There is a bit of phosphorescent light here.
Yeah.
So there is dim light, so we can actually see all the way across.
Yes. And I
This
we both still have
is
darkness for the time being.
Yeah, this is a massive chasm.
Yeah.
You can't see the bottom. Uh,
No.
there's massive pillars that go down
Yeah.
into the darkness.
Yes, I
And
assume
down
this
there,
chasm is more than 60 feet deep.
and yeah, and we're not there yet even. You don't even get to
Yeah.
see that part. And down there, doesn't seem any phosphorescence, so it is pitch black down there.
Right. If we can see the other side of this with ease, I'm going to try and scan the horizon on the other side of this bridge or chasm, see if I see any dwerger or trolls setting up. And there's
You don't have to look very hard.
that's a yes.
At the moment,
Yeah.
about just around this crest of this second arch, you see a shield wall.
Okay. A
A,
shield wall is normally a bunch of soldiers stacking shields together.
that's exactly what this is.
All right.
You see, uh, not spears, more like javelins poking up above them as well.
All right.
And you do see a bit of movement. The thing that you see without any issue whatsoever
Yeah.
is the massive troll behind this shield wall.
Mm-hmm.
I would
And
like
so I assume
to.
that's advancing in our direction.
At the moment, no.
Oh no, it's not.
At the moment, they have stopped.
Okay, so they're using some sort of makeshift fortification with their shields.
Yeah, they are currently maybe assessing.
Yeah.
You figure you do see some signs of combat on the bridge.
Yeah.
So I think they are
Okay, so maybe the drow did actually manage to fight back.
uh, formed a bit of resistance anyway.
All right. And since we're at a moment of calm, he says, "Okay, if this comes to combat, I'm going to turn to like the commander."
Commander. Yeah.
Yeah. It says, "I want you to take your people. Can you manage to get into these towers?"
Well, that's generally what we do,
Yeah.
except sometimes it would we also in this conversation, by the way, you get the feeling he has no tactical skills at
All right.
all.
Well, I do have tactical skills, so I'm going to give him a bit of my experience here. All right. I want you to get in here. I want you. Says we have some. You have oil flask, don't you?
I have a oil
Oh,
flask.
you have eight. Are you willing to use it here?
I'd rather use magic.
That's not what I'm trying to help them. We are fine.
All right, so you're trying to get them to hopefully set the troll on fire kind of thing?
My plan is for them to find if you have any oil present. Says if not, we might be able to provide you with a flask of it, and tie rags to your arrows. Says if you can make a spark, we can make a small fire. Fire is very effective against trolls, and fire arrows should be something that shouldn't be too difficult to make in the situation.
Okay. Um, he's actually responding really quite well to your
His
instructions.
advice.
He says something in Elvish to
Well,
one of the our escort,
yeah.
and he runs off. He says, "Yeah,
Says,
he'll be
I,
back momentarily. We do have oil, obviously, for cooking and other stuff. We
and
will see to that."
any flasks get a fire going in one of these towers. Says and ignite your arrows, and I want you, all five of you, to stay in there until you've spent all your arrows before coming out here, because fire can be very effective against fighting trolls.
He says, he gets a bit of a puzzled look in his face at this point. You two are going to be out here, and you're going to handle all that while we're up in the towers. He's just like you
It
think he's trying to clarify here, but he seems a little incredulous at the same time.
says we have, well, we can easily get into the other tower, but yes, it says that might come to that. It says, but we have a great deal of experience dealing with trolls and combatants. Says we have some experience to call upon here. My best advice is when you have a fortified structure like this and you have archers, is to make use of cover and attack from range.
All right, this is all starting to get underway.
Yeah.
When
And the other question I have is there some way we can destroy this bridge? No.
no,
Well,
even
you put the idea of Moria in my head with that image.
even with an earth elemental,
We wouldn't be able to bring it down.
not in short order.
No. All right. It was just an idea.
Okay, while they're having that idea, a rhythmic beating starts up.
Those sound like war drums.
Nope. It is the contingent of shield wall. You see there's six shields all the way across.
Yeah.
They're beginning to bang them on the ground, and they also seem to be banging something against them, and they're chanting something. They seem to be getting
And
themselves
presumably dwarven or dwerg or whatever.
a language we do not understand.
I don't have tongues cast still, so and I don't
Uh,
think I'm going to have time. I do actually have a moment to cast it if I want to.
it's going to take them way more than 6 seconds to get across here.
Yeah. If they start shouting things in Dwarvish, it might be a good idea to be able to understand that. Okay. I'm gonna cast
Well,
tongues.
hold before you do, roll an intelligence check.
22.
You pick up a cadence. This is kind of, you get the feeling that this is not so much conversation as like a
Some sort
weird
of war chant.
kind of a war chant, battle cry kind of thing. They're trying to like basically they're just
Yeah.
trying to get themselves worked up.
Yeah, well, there still might be some orders being given here at some point, which might be nice to be able to understand. So I will cast tongues on myself.
All right.
All right. So I assume it's just a general war chant that to build up momentum. Who knows if the troll understands that?
It's for all intents and purposes, crush them, kill them, mash them in the meal, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, all pleasant stuff.
All pleasant stuff.
I'm going to instruct that to the basically the commander of this drow contingent with us. Says,
Yep.
all right, get to the tower. It says it's about to start.
And the troll, which you can understand now, is
Mhm.
hungry. Feed me, or I eat one of you.
Yeah, trolls are, as far as I'm aware, are almost always hungry.
Yep, he's hungry. And
All
by the way,
right, can I
uh,
see what the troll is armed with from this distance?
it's a long way off.
Perception check?
It's kind of dim light. Roll a perception check.
Just a straight roll?
Yeah.
Okay. 23.
All right. Ever since you got that skill.
Yeah. Yeah, I have good perception now.
All right. He is completely unarmored except for two things: a helmet
Mhm.
with two rather nasty looking serrated blades slash horns coming out
Okay,
of
why do I
it.
get the distinct feeling they're going to have him use that as a weapon?
And he's wearing some sort of metal gauntlets, also with some really nasty looking weaponry on them.
Spikes. Okay, this guy is going to be some sort of close range brawler.
Yeah, he's not pleasant looking. All right, they're going to start moving. I want to give you a bit of range here.
Okay,
The distance between these two towers is about 50, 75 feet.
okay,
So each of these is about 50 feet.
okay.
So they're roughly at the moment 200 feet away from us.
All right. Well, my first instructions is for everyone to get to the tower.
Yeah. All right. So you do that, and you hear, oh, this is going to be really at the limit of your ability to hear. So perception, please.
17?
You're not entirely sure, but it sounded like an instruction to take out the tower.
Okay.
The troll goes over to the side of the bridge, picks up a reasonably good sized rock, which is, about,
If we can't cast spells at them from this distance, they're not going to be able. He's not going to be able to throw those rocks from the very far.
you know, picks up a chunk of the bridge and
Okay.
points in the direction it says, and they start moving.
Yeah. I point to you. As soon as that troll's within range, fireball.
All right, this is what happens.
Mhm.
Oops, I think I hit the wrong button. Wrong way. There. Oh, there we go. Okay, 200 feet away.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they get to the crest of this, they're 150 feet away, which is within my range.
Yes.
Okay,
Get
this
as
is what
many of them as you can in there, but make sure that troll's in the far in the radius.
they are closely compacted.
Yeah, that's a good tactic for fighting everything but a wizard.
Yeah. So, we are going to roll initiatives,
Yeah, I thought we were coming to that.
but this is not going to be part of that. This is going to be the initiation, let's
Yeah, the
say.
fireball's going to start combat.
There.
Whoa.
Oh, you better not roll well. You're not allowed to roll well.
I have a 21.
Oh, that just throws everything off. Hey, you. You have a 21. That's just wrong. I have a 13. Oh, what do you guys have for dexterity? Nothing. They have a 15. Well, they better get you up here because you're going to be involved in this.
I really hope they can get some fire arrows going.
Oh, wait a minute. You have a +1. All right, let's see what happens there. Ah, natural one. Who cares?
Who rolled the natural one?
The troll.
Okay.
Oh, all right. This is the order. You, the Draugr, me,
Yeah.
the elves, and taking up the rear is the troll.
All right.
All right, we're going to start off this combat with.
A fireball, which is out of initiative, right? We said.
Yeah, it is. just happening.
You want me to roll dexterity saving throws for them?
No, there's a couple other things involved here. Sorry,
Okay.
stuff you don't know about yet. Where are my other? I'm missing a D6. The bias. Yeah, I remember it now. I remember where I put it too, fortunately.
Hmm. All right. Let's hope this is good fireball to start this off.
Yeah, it would be nice for a change.
Fireball has redeemed itself recently.
That's a 29-point fireball.
Pretty good, at least for a start.
Not bad. Alright, I'll write that down because now there's stuff gonna happen. Okay, you
This is probably going to
guys.
take them by surprise.
Yeah, because it's not happened before.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys all have. So that. So you're gonna get. Alright, I'm not gonna roll these. This is getting ridiculous. Um, one more roll for the other guy. Yo, you don't get a damage. Everyone else does. Okay, fireball goes off.
Yes.
Troll really doesn't like it. Takes the kind of damage you would expect a troll to take.
Yeah. I don't think trolls are actually weak to fire.
No, they really hate fire.
Yeah.
So he's truly enraged at this point.
Yeah. Hey, maybe he'll charge forward and knock some of them off the bridge.
The Draugr.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, if I remember trolls correctly, they can't heal fire damage.
no, they can't. They heal at the top of the round
Yeah.
as long as they haven't taken fire.
Yeah, that's different now. I think it used to be they just can't heal fire damage with the regeneration ability.
So any round that he takes fire damage in, he's not going to regenerate.
All right, so he's taking 29 points of fire damage. Troll's
Yep.
pretty hardy.
Yep. Yeah, he's not blooded or anything. Trust me.
How did the Dwarger handle that?
Um, they actually seem. It's hard to tell from this distance. They definitely did not take anywhere near as much damage as you'd think they would have taken.
So they're either fire resistant, but I don't think they are, or they saved.
So
Now we're in initiative, I assume.
yeah, now you're up.
All right, so I'm up. Well, unfortunately, they're out of range for almost everything I can cast.
Top of the round,
Yep.
the troll would regenerate, but no.
So it doesn't. Well, it regenerates on its turn, I think.
Yeah, start of its turn. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so yeah. Downside to my prepared spell list is I don't think any of this reaches that far.
Oh, no ice storm today.
No, I haven't been preparing Ice Storm in a while.
They're
Its
150.
damage isn't that good, unfortunately.
No, they're out of your range. They're 150. Do you
Yeah.
want to hold anything?
Yes, I am going to. All right. I'm going to hold a fourth level magic missile
Whoa!
until the troll within range of 120 feet. At which point I will release the magic missile at the troll.
All right. Well, that brings us to the Draugr.
Yes.
Two things happen. First off, they changed their formation. They there's
They might have some experience of fighting magic users.
there was a wall of 6, right?
Yeah.
Now they divided up into 2 groups of 3, and their shields are forming a more of a like a bubble
Wedge?
Not really. It's one flat one,
Yeah.
and then 2 at angles beside it, and they're behind that, and now they're quick marching.
Okay.
The important bit from their point of view is there's now room in the middle.
For the troll to charge through.
Yeah.
Well, it's not its turn yet.
So they move a little less than us.
Yeah.
But they do move, and then they
Dash.
They have nothing else to do, so they dash. So they have moved up 50. They're now 100 feet from us. Where, on, it's my turn.
Yes.
I have two targets. I can't hit them both. I can hit the Draugr,
Yeah.
or
Well,
I
the
can,
troll's not going to regenerate this turn.
yeah. So I can fireball again if
Yep.
you like.
Well, my advice was to open with a fireball, and we want to bring the troll down.
Right.
But the Dwarger are probably going to do a lot of damage if they get here too, so it's
The problem
both are
is
valid targets.
I can't hit both of them.
Nope. Well, whichever one you think is best then.
All right. I'm going to burn an additional third level spell and fireball. I got to aim for the Draugr.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting better. 33 points of damage.
Okay.
So, they are a lot closer now. I would like you to roll a perception check, please.
Yeah. 14. I am in the middle of concentrating on a spell.
Yep. That's high enough.
Yeah.
Something's going on. They don't seem to be taking anywhere near as much damage as they should be taking.
Okay.
I'm rolling a roll once for everybody now because it's getting stupid.
Yeah.
Oh. Never mind.
So they have some sort of fire resistance.
I would like to augment that that they took no damage.
Oh, you rolled a natural 20 for all of them?
One nat 20.
Well, that fireball goes to waste.
That fireball went to waste. And yeah, they're still charging towards us.
Alright. Time for the elves.
Elves! Alright. I'm gonna bunch them into two archer groups because they were that way before.
Yeah.
The Draugr have half cover.
Yeah. Oh, just as a question, are we all in the same tower?
We're not in a tower. We're
Oh, okay.
They originally had some people here, some people there, and then they decided just to do it like just spread them.
Okay.
Four of the remaining just went each into there. We're here.
Okay.
As far as I know, that's where we were.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that fireball is completely and totally wasted.
Alright then.
The elves. Are
Yes.
not legless.
Sorry?
The elves are not legless.
No. They all miss?
Dinging off shields.
I was concerned about that.
Yeah, they all missed.
Okay.
Not even close.
The troll.
Troll's turn.
Yeah.
He has a much better move rate. Easily passes the Draugr.
Yeah.
So they started here. I fireballed them here. The Draugr are now just getting to the crest of here.
Mhm.
The troll is on the way down, and as he gets down,
Well, hang on. As he enters my spell range,
sorry, I forgot.
yep, I release my spell, and he
Yep.
can't regenerate this turn. So
No.
this damage is going to be keeping, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. $17. 23 points of force damage as I unleash the magic missile.
Okay, I would like you to roll a perception check, please.
Natural 20.
All right. You indeed see glowing yellow-green eyes on the troll.
Okay.
You do catch glimpses of yellow-green glowing eyes on the Draugr when they peek around for what they're doing.
Yeah.
When you hit the troll with the magic missiles, there was some kind of spray being given off as it hit the troll.
Oh, there are some troll variants that have sort of some effects like that that I know of.
Yeah, you are close enough now that you can hear and even over the combat and smell some acid that's burning.
Okay, it's got some sort of spray when we damage it.
Yeah.
All right, but it took the damage from the magic missile.
Yes.
All right.
And at this point, hauls back, and as you notice, it's disregarding its orders, and it hurls this massive boulder in our direction.
All right.
How'd you like? Odds or evens?
Evens.
Ah! Uh-oh.
It's going for me, is it?
Yep.
Well, I have mage armor and I can cast shield if need be.
Natural one.
Natural one. It sails over my head.
Nah. Doesn't go anywhere near you.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. Look, it's just a troll. It's not one of your big boss monsters.
It was gonna be impressive. Alright. I'll get over that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's the troll's turn, I assume.
yeah. What'd you roll on your perception check again?
14.
Alright, that's fine. Okay. Top of the round.
Me.
Yep.
Well, I do not have any real fire spells to cast here.
Yep.
Oh, where's the troll currently?
Oh, 75 feet away.
Alright. Well, I could hit it with another magic missile, or if I get a bit closer. Yeah, if I use my movement, I can get closer and catch probably. Where are the dwerger?
They're about 10, 15 feet behind him.
Alright.
Hold on, before you decide to do anything, there is a barricade here.
Yeah, so.
You would have to scramble over it, and that will require a dexterity check, and at the very least, it'll use up half of your movement.
Yeah. See, the problem is, All right, I'm going to. It says you're going to need to hit the troll with fire again when you get a chance,
Okay.
because I have no fire spells. However, all the dice are right here,
Alright.
so let's go for another 4th level magic missile.
Alright, go for it.
And yes, I'm aiming for the troll still.
I figured.
I'm still considering it as the biggest threat.
Yep.
Right. 16. 24 points of force damage this time.
Alright. It is damaged.
Mhm.
And you do again see that spray.
Yes. I want
Fortunately.
to try and kill it before it gets too close because of that.
Yeah. Alright.
All right. Using my movement, I would like to get closer to one of the towers to try and take some cover.
You have cover right here.
Yeah.
You have a barricade.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking the trolls are going to tear through that.
Probably. Okay. I would like one more perception check for me, please.
12.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot going on at this point.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So, now we are at my turn.
Weren't the dwarger first?
Oh, my bad, yep. So they go stomping past the troll.
Yeah. It was taking a lot of damage in a very short period of time.
Yep. Now, so they're going to make it. They were here.
Mm. Doesn't look like they make it to us.
They make it to the top of here, but it will take their. They have to dash.
Yeah. Besides, I think they still want to let that troll through to try and break through that barricade.
Yeah, so what they're going to do is once they reach here,
Yeah.
They form up their the two shield walls, leaving room for the troll to get through, and they are hunkering down. Can't see any of them at this point.
Yeah. All right.
All right, that's their turn.
Your turn.
They can't do anything. All right, troll.
Your turn.
Yeah, I know. I said troll, and then one.
They should be within close enough together for fireball at this point, I think.
Well, yeah, I should be able to get them. I mean, I could fire off yet another fireball.
Yeah.
And I could hit all of them this time, I think.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do that.
It does seem to be the best strategy at the moment.
Yeah, I just don't like being the, stereotypical wizard just firing off fireballs all the time.
Well, we kind of have to at this point.
Yeah. All right, so 10. Wow. 35 this time.
That's good. Hopefully they don't roll another natural 20.
All right. Oh,
Oh,
I gotta roll for the troll, please, sir.
At the very least, the troll should not be regenerating this turn.
So I gotta look at my spell save DC.
16, I believe.
Troll made the saving throw. All right. So
That's
troll,
unfortunate because the damage we've been doing to it might have been enough to kill it otherwise.
Yeah. So the troll takes. I gotta start adding these up because we're getting kind of high.
I mean, yeah, it's taken 29, 23, and 24, and now this.
Yeah. It has taken, in theory, 91 points of damage.
Well, I don't know what its hit points is, but I'm pretty sure it's got to be at least fairly severely damaged at this point.
Yep. Now, I like, again, a perception check for me, please.
All right, 22.
Something's funny going on with the Draugr. They're definitely not taking anywhere near as much damage.
Okay.
Something
What about the troll?
Trolls he's ass bloodied.
Yeah, still standing, unfortunately.
Still standing.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna take half that. Half of that. And then Draugr are quite damaged.
And they're not retreating.
They don't seem to be behaving like normal.
Yeah, because that's odd. I mean, all dwarves understand military tactics to a degree, and they must understand that if we can do that much damage as they're crossing a bridge, this is a losing fight.
You'd think
Yes.
that would settle in. But yeah, no.
All right. Well, they're under something's control.
Yep. All right, so that's my turn.
Yeah.
Elves.
Do they have fire arrows at this point? Because aim at the troll.
Yeah, they miss.
Nope.
Not a Legolas among them.
Nope.
Nope. Troll's turn.
Well, it doesn't regenerate.
Does not regenerate.
I assume it's charging too.
No. It passes the shield wall with its normal movement, grabs a chunk of bridge, and hurls it. He's pissed. He's not aiming at you.
No? Is he aiming at you?
Oh yeah, he saw
Okay.
that.
Well, 2 fireballs have come from you.
Yeah, I've been running fire at him. He doesn't like being hit by all these little pingy missile things, but he hates fire.
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, all the damage we've been doing is to the troll, for the most part.
Boulder this size.
Yeah.
Whoosh.
Over your head this time.
Closer.
Yeah.
Much closer.
Okay, so not a natural one, but he still missed.
Yeah, I rolled a 6 plus a bunch, but
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not really meant. It's not a projectile weapon. He's throwing it. It's
no.
brute strength, basically.
Yeah,
It's
he's
not
just
designed to fly through the air.
no. And yeah, it is just not working out for him.
Okay.
Oh, so that is that round. Top of the round.
Me.
I would like you to roll one more perception check because this is getting quite obvious at this point.
19.
All right. Um, from here
Mhm.
back is all in darkness.
Okay, so there's some sort of magical darkness in effect there.
You cannot see the bridge anymore.
Okay. So yeah, so magical darkness.
It seems like yes,
All
because
right.
you see it before.
All right.
You can see the down that way and that way, the chasm. Like the
Yeah, so
wall.
it's a limited zone of magical darkness.
Yep. And
Okay.
you feel a rumbling in the ground, and you hear some really horrible sound of kind of a growl slash.
All right. Does that sound coming from the bridge or beneath it?
It's coming from somewhere in that darkness.
Okay, which is on the bridge as far as I can tell.
Yep.
All right.
I would
Well,
like you. Hold on a sec. You need. It is truly a horrific sound.
Good grief.
Wisdom saving throw, please.
All right. Well, it's another natural 12 plus my wisdom saving throw, which brings it up to 20.
You had an overwhelming sense of fear, but it wasn't.
All right.
All the elves in this tower
Yeah.
are running away.
Okay. I mean, they weren't exactly helpful, were they?
They're going to live now, at least.
Yeah.
And at that sound,
Yeah.
we're going to take our break.
All right then. So we'll be back here in a few moments.